Hey guys, I wanted to talk about what's going on in the world right now. You see, like a year and a half ago, I pretty much was put on quarantine myself. And because of that, I've learned so much in the past year and a half about living the life that we're all in the midst of living right now. And one of the things that I realized most of all through this past year and a half was how much that it's kind of ironic that in order to have more freedom, we have to have our freedom taken away sometimes. And in the past year and a half, that's what the Lord has shown me, that in the midst of the darkest of times where I felt like everything was being taken away from me. Now, granted, my situation is different. I started out in a place where, honestly, I think for all of us, we've had things taken away from us. But my dreams have always been to be a youth minister, to be successful and passionate in whatever I do, to be a mom. And after years and years of infertility, I got pregnant, and it was a miracle, and it was amazing. And I was literally a youth minister at the time, and it was like all my dreams were coming true. After years and years of being patient and going through lots of heartache for many different reasons, and trusting in God and feeling like I had given up so much. I had been through so much and still remained faithful, but yet still God was asking more of me. And ultimately, the thing I wanted the most was to be close to God, to go to heaven, to live a life filled with love, like true love. And what we think of as true love and what we think of as the desires of our heart are not necessarily really what the desires of our heart are. And if we go to God, if we truly give our heart to Him and we say, Lord, I want your will in my life. I really want what you want for me because you know me better than I know myself. And what happens is that sometimes life doesn't look the way we think it's supposed to look, and we get really thrown off. And so that happened to me. Like I expected that I was gonna, once I got pregnant, I was gonna have the baby, and then I was gonna be a youth minister for the next 10 years. I was gonna raise this baby amidst the youth group. I was gonna have all my kids as like their older brothers and sisters. Everybody was gonna help me do this. And what happened was not that. My whole life imploded. My health went horribly the opposite direction. I had always been struggling with chronic illness, but never had the answers as to why. I mean, I had some answers, but and then my health declined severely. And so instead of pursuing more of what I loved in youth ministry and speaking and all of that, and then being a mom, I was placed in my home and really literally was having everything taken away from me. I couldn't drive. I could barely get out of bed some days. I was could barely breathe, could barely talk. So like I'm going from this very extroverted person who loves people to not even barely being able to talk or have visitors because it was so bad for my health. And so amidst that time, I got really, really in dark places, but I kept trying to go back to God and be like, Lord, I know you want my good. I know that there's more for me in this. I know that you are awesome, and that's what we always have to go back to, is this idea that God is good. Like He truly wants our good. And I've said this before, but it's really important because everything grows from that. If we don't believe that He's a good God that wants our good, then nothing He does makes sense. As things were getting more and more taken away from me, my independence was getting taken away, my health was getting taken away, my dream of having children was getting taken away because of the severity of my health and what it would do to my health, and even potentially the choice to adopt was going to get taken away because my health was so bad that nobody would want me to, I wouldn't be able to take care of a child. My dream job got taken away in the midst of like us being extremely successful in this ministry, and none of it made sense. None of it, and I was locked at home basically by myself and alone, and my husband having to pick up all the work and do all the stuff and get groceries and anything, you know, he was just like bogged down. So basically he was alone in this too. And so, and constantly working and having to pick up the pace. So, which made me just more alone as well because he was so busy. So my point in all of this is like to share with you like the darkness of what I was going through and the confusion and the feeling like everything was taken away. All the things, all the expectations I had about what my life was gonna be, which I know a lot of you are experiencing right now. I know a lot of college kids who this is their freshman year, and their freshman year is basically being torn away from them because of the COVID-19, you know? They're having to go back home and lose the freedom that they had and live back in a way like they're in high school when they're not, you know? There's a lot of expectations that we have for our life. And if I've come to realize anything through my suffering, it's that expectation can destroy things. It can destroy relationships, it can destroy your mental health, your physical health, because if you're so caught up on these expectations of what your life is, you'll actually miss out on what your life should be. The things that I thought my life would be literally are not them at all. But the plan that God has for me was so much better. And I wasted so much time having anxiety and stressing out about all the things I couldn't control that I missed out on the things that were happening right in front of me at times. And so through this past year, I've had to let go of that. Like I've had to let go of these expectations, just like so many of us had right now. There's so many people who have had weddings that literally couldn't even have wedding guests. I don't think that's how they thought their wedding would go. That the most special event, you know, the most special event that anybody can have, in a sense, a wedding, and to have nobody at your wedding and or have to cancel it and have to cancel your honeymoon, and you know, to be single and think, oh my gosh, maybe this is the year that I'm gonna meet somebody, and literally have to be quarantined by yourself. For all the people who literally are in the hospital right now with the COVID-19, who were healthy and who aren't elderly or have chronic illness or things like that, and they're just, their lives are being taken away from them. For all the seniors who this is their senior year and it's being completely destroyed, you know, like it's not what everybody else's life looks like. In this past year, every expectation that I had was ripped away from me. In fact, it got to the point where, again, like I said, like I could barely remain upright because I was getting dizzy and feeling nauseous all the time. And then one day to the next, I could feel good and then not feel good. So literally, I was having to live moment to moment, not knowing what every day was gonna look like. Would I be in bed? Would I be able to do something outside? Would I be, you know, every single time I had an expectation, I couldn't have it, you know? So my freedom, I thought, was being completely ripped away, when in reality, it was the exact opposite. And I had talked to my spiritual director about this, and he was like, Elise, it's so very clear to me that the Lord is literally trying to free you, like, of everything, you know? And that's the crazy part, is like, until we have nothing left, can we really be set free? I'm having to let go of people's opinions of me and what they think of me, and for the first time being loved for who I am and being loved. I've always been a producer, like somebody who produces, like I have to be creative and I have to make things happen and I have to do. And in this past year, I literally couldn't. I couldn't even take care of myself at some points. But this is the beauty of it, is that in the midst of that, the Lord was like, Elise, like, I want you to know that you don't have to do in order for me to love you. Just who you are pleases me. Who you are as a person, like you don't have to do anything else in this world, and I would still love you just as much. And that's real freedom. When you've based your life on doing or producing, that your worth is based off of that. Like detaching that and realizing that your worth isn't based off of that. That you are just loved desperately by God. Like it's a freedom that I can't describe to you, and it's a freedom that I believe that the Lord is calling us all to right now. So yeah, I am excited to share some things with you. I hope you come along as I share this. And if you have any questions or anything that you'd want to share, please comment or message me through Facebook or Instagram. If there's things that you're struggling with in the midst of this quarantine that you'd like advice on, I'm here. I've been through this. I have so many people who have been doing this even more than I have, who have completely and totally inspired me with the joy that they handle this. So yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope that you're able to take this time and enjoy being home, even in the midst of chaos. And yeah, love you all, love your faces, and I'll talk to you soon. I never give up.